RuneScape is known for being one of the grindiest games of all time, and this becomes particularly true when playing as an Ironman, a game mode in which you have to get everything yourself with no help from other players. No trading, no shared loot, zip. You stand alone. And while there's other modes such as groups and hardcore, there's one mode that stands out among the rest. The Ultimate Ironman, which is an Ironman who cannot use a bank. And because it takes so long to make progress, it makes sense that most follow strict guides and traditional methods to reduce the pain. Well, that's not me. No, we're after the new guys such as Scurious, the Moon's Apparel, Phantom Muspa, Mux a Little, and that's just PVM. We'll also explore newer skilling methods regardless of their efficiency and avoid the typical as much as possible. That means no blackjacking, no winter taught, etc. So come along this journey with me as I dive in and embrace the life of no bank, no help, just pain. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of No Bank, No Help, Just Pain. The last episode we ended up getting ready to enter Varlamore so we can make some money and train magic for Mahogany Homes. So without further ado, let's see what it holds for us. Varlamore, a land of wealth and wonder, where history is carved in stone and adventure calls to the bold. From the sacred halls of the Dawn Templar to the thriving streets of Civitas Illifortis, prosperity and power shape its people. But beyond the safety of its walls, a wild frontier awaits, untamed jungles and forgotten gods. For those who dare to step forward, riches and glory lie ahead. But we're not there yet. Welcome to the Bazaar of Varlamore, where the kids are rowdy, pockets are full, and the thieves are plenty. The latter of which we will be a part of as we look to empty those pockets in a step-by-step method. Step 1. You must acknowledge and pet Molossus the dog. This is a hard requirement, and if you ignore or shoo him away, you will be fined and the method will not work. Step 2. Refrain from pickpocketing wealthy citizens in the normal fashion. Doing so will result in you getting slapped like King Rald with the garden. Step 3 is the fun part, where every minute and a half, a street urchin, also known as a little but I guess that would have been too controversial, will cry bloody murder, attracting a wealthy citizen's attention, where you can now freely pickpocket them for approximately 24 seconds. This provides gold pouches every time and has a 1 in 18 drop rate to receive a house key, which is the goal, as we could then enter their homes and steal their valuables and sell them for even more gold. Even with only actively pickpocketing for 24 seconds every minute and a half, this still gives up to around 60,000 experience an hour, I believe, which is unbelievably good for the amount of effort. Do not forget the dog. While it may seem like it will take a long time to get the house keys to efficiently do this, it really doesn't take too long, especially if you wear the rogue's outfit, which will give you 2 keys at one time. Something, of course, that we don't have yet, but it will come in the near future. We'll get a few more keys now, just so we can knock a few houses out without going back and forth. Step 4 is the bread and butter, where you locate the house that is empty and use the house key to enter, and then click on the chests, wardrobes, and the like to begin stealing the valuables. Thankfully, you only need 1 click, and it'll keep going, making this method one of my favorites. You have approximately 3 minutes to get as much as you can before the owner comes back. Every 45 seconds to a minute or so, you will have the opportunity to loot a bonus chest, which is the arrow pointing on top of it. These chests will give you a good handful of extra experience as well as valuables, and I do recommend that you look out for them, as we are definitely going to do, as they are invaluable. After about 3 minutes, you will see and hear the owner coming back. You will hear the sound of a whistle from the street urchin warning you to get the hell out of Dodge. So thankfully, we heard the whistle, and now we can jump out this window, and then move on to the next house to burglarize their house to steal their valuables. Overall, I really do enjoy this method though, as it's very, very relaxed compared to other methods. The loot is actually decent because you can get jewelry and the such, and you can get some really good experience. You can also get these blessed bone statuettes and break them down into blessed bone shards for prayer experience, which is nice. But so that way we don't bore anybody, let's speed this up. Once you're done with your house keys, you could then talk to this dodgy character, also known as Oriana, after you talk to her for the first time. She will then take your valuables and exchange them for gold coins. So in this case, we only did a few houses and we did get about 30,000 coins, which is nice, but it's not quite what we need. I'm thinking that we're going to need approximately about 100,000 in order to get the runes and then have the money to make the logs into planks and such. But, I just don't want to go back and forth too much. Although I can't really praise this method more because it's just such a good method. It's so laid back and the experience is great. Dude, this guy got a tango root. Jesus Christ. Just kidding. We're not going to do that again. Man, look at this. 55 thieving. We've done less than a dozen houses, and we already got 5 thieving levels, practically doing nothing. Okay, 6 levels. I stand corrected. Man, I seriously love this method. Seriously do it. Alright, we're a few thousand short than what I wanted, but 95k, that should do. We can now also sell all of our jewelry here, and then, because we're not going to have any use for it, and then also get our chisel to break down these blessed bone statues for our blessed bone shards. As I said, we can use them at the Tiamat and get some really decent prayer experience, really. Unfortunately, though, it's going to be a little bit until we can actually use them, as we need to level up our agility, which I think it's 40 something. Yeah, okay, level 47 agility in order to get to the Tiamat, so we'll have to work on that. In order to get the runes that we need, we're going to be going to the Mage Arena in the Wilderness, so we're going to have to be really careful with this one. Pull the lever, Kronk. Okay, the webs are already slashed. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, so we're going to go ahead and speed this up and get the hell in there. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This shop has basically everything that we're going to need. I mean, they've got laws, they've got cosmics, they've got deaths. I mean, shoot, they even have nature runes. Admittedly, we really don't need any of those other ones. We just need the teleportation ones, since we can't make our own law runes yet. And thankfully, because these are bloody expensive. So we're just going to stick with the law runes, and then we can get the elemental runes elsewhere. I'm thinking we're going to need about 100 or so. Our method's going to be involving going to the Arceuus Library and collecting books, which will give us magic experience. It can give you runecrafting experience too, but we're not going to be worrying about that. We're getting our magic level up so that way we can use all these different teleports from Mahogany Homes as opposed to running, as running for all of them would be very detrimental to our cause. So we're going to need about level 40 in order to make this efficient. Thankfully, we can use the Arceuus Library teleport, as it only requires level 6, some earth runes, and a law rune, so that way it teleports us right outside the library and make this quicker. What the hell is this guy doing? He's using that lectern? Oh, that's how you make those tablets. I didn't know that. I thought it was just in your POH. Huh, the more you know, I guess. Okay, I really should have been smart and gotten an elemental staff rather than having to buy the runes, but, my mistake. Live and learn, I guess. So we gotta swap our spellbook in order to use the Arceuus Library teleport. Now that we got that though, we can use the teleport, which teleports us right outside the library like so, and we can begin this lovely method. This method involves getting books and scrolls for the individuals down here. The books are located by searching the bookshelves here. It does take a little bit to find the first one in order to locate all of them with the plugin. I do recommend it, otherwise you're going to be having a real rough time. The books do reset every hour and a half though, so I recommend just knocking this out as quickly as you can. Once you have them though, you can now return it to the individual and they will give you a book of knowledge, which you can use for either magic or runecrafting experience, which is equivalent to your level. I believe the magic is 15 times your level. You do need to go back and forth though between the individuals downstairs, as if you use the same person twice in a row, they will simply thank you for getting them what they needed and you won't be able to do anything. So let's go ahead and do this for a little bit and see how it treats us. So we were able to get a bunch of levels, and that being said, I figured I would do a little compare and contrast just to show how good the library actually is. So we went to Verde, bought some chaos runes, and did some traditional training against some guards. I couldn't be bothered with the crabs, it was too far of a walk. And while we were able to get a bunch of levels, there's one little detail that I want you to pay attention to. That's right, it made us completely broke by buying all those runes, as opposed to the free cost of the library that we did before. So we are going to sell a bunch of items, lower our weights, that way we run out of energy less. We're going to make our way back and do the library to level 40. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have now achieved level 40 magic, giving us the ability to teleport to Varrock, Falador, and teleport to House, which our house being in Host Sidious. And now we can now work on Mahogany Homes in a more efficient manner. I must say it's so much better with these teleports because beforehand running around, it just wasn't really efficient at all and it made it terrible. Although cutting down the logs and making them into planks still sucks. I must admit these levels are actually coming through pretty quick. We're already in the 30s and it's roughly 1 level per contract, which don't get me wrong, I know that's going to change the higher we get, but it's still nice to see and it kind of makes it a little more encouraging, at least until you come across an item to where you're 1 plank short for it. But, such is the case, such is life. It gets frustrating. You go back for more materials, you come back for the contract, you finish it, you get a new one. It's not bad at all, really. I actually kind of enjoy it compared to traditional methods. Not sure how everybody else is, though. Admittedly, we are going to have to burglarize some more houses as we ran out of money buying the runes, but that's okay though, because I mean, we're already level 57 thieving. So between getting the thieving levels, getting the money, it just kind of becomes a routine. We get some levels, we get some money, then we go back and then spend the money doing some Mahogany Homes and some contracts. Overall, it's not so bad though, because I mean, the levels are coming through pretty quick. It's relatively entertaining. You know, it's just, there's really no downside other than having to cut the logs down, make them into planks, of course. But even then, it's not so bad, I guess, because we're still getting the levels as we're going up with woodcutting too. So no complaints, really. Awesome, level 36 construction, hell yeah. Okay, so being an ultimate Ironman, unnoting items can be a little tricky. So we have to fill up our inventory minus the certain amount of slots that we're trying to use, and then use the banknote on the bank booth to unnote that. You have to be really careful though, because it will unnote your inventory for any open slots. All right, level 38 construction, although we are out of steel bars, so hopefully we don't need any more before we hit our milestone. Nah, well, there goes that theory. All right, so we're throwing a bit of a curveball here because we need to start the giant dwarf quest in order to get access to the blast furnace. But then when we got access to the blast furnace, I realized I don't even have level 30 smithing. So in order to get that, I figured we would do the knight's sword quest. But for the knight's sword quest, we need to get some iron bars, which means we need to go into the wilderness, which is not good for us. And then once we get the iron bars, we now have to get some red berries to make a red berry pie, which requires level 10 cooking, which we don't have either. So in order to do that, we have to do Gertrude's cat, which should give us the level for the red berry pie. Please, please, please. All right, level 13, we're good. I will have you know, this was like my 10th time trying to make this damn pie. It's so annoying. All right, that sword is now completed, putting us at level 29. So all we did is we bought some iron ores, made some iron bars for level 30, and then made them into steel bars. So hopefully we should be good for level 40. There's 39, just one more. All right, there's level 40, which I believe is the requirement we need for the costume room. So let's go ahead and take a look, if I'm not mistaken. Fudge, it's 42. All right, I guess it's back to the grind, which kind of sucks, I guess, but you know, just back to what we were doing. Make the planks, do the contracts, la-di-da. Overall, it's pretty quick though, no complaints. All right, one last one, let's double time. Seriously? And there we have it, 42 construction, which is exactly what we need, I double checked, for the costume room, which means we can now have some storage space for some outfits, which is fantastic for this account. The irony though is we have to go back to Varlamore yet again to get more money because it's going to cost about 50,000 coins to get the costume room. But again, no complaints because we are just skyrocketing these thieving levels. I mean, there's 61 already and now even 62. I mean, we started at level 50 and just to get to 42 construction, we went up 12 thieving levels. I mean, come on. I mean, can you really beat that? Plus we got 88k now. So now let's go ahead and break these down into our blessed bone shards and we'll be good to go. Alrighty, ladies and gents, let's go ahead and build our costume room. There we have it. Everything that we're ever going to need on this account. Fancy dress box, toy box, magic wardrobe, cape rack, treasure chest, armor case. I mean, shoot. I mean, do we really need anything else? That's a rhetorical question. I know we're going to need a lot more. Alright, so let's go ahead and make this bad boy and see what it can hold. Alright, so out of everything that I see here, I think one of the most important things that we're going to get is the graceful outfit, since we can actually store it and not lose it now. Admittedly, I think I'm going to go for the Varlamore outfit. I think it's just one of the coolest ones out there. And, I mean, it's an AFK agility course. I mean, why not? Man, look at the rest of the stuff we can hide in here, though. It's going to be so helpful. Wow. Yeah, you know what? I think that we are going to go for the graceful outfit next, as it's just going to be so useful. I mean, we're going to have a ton more energy, our agility level is going to go up, and it's going to save us a bunch of space since we can now store the outfit in our house. And speaking of space, that means we can also get rid of the blessed bone shards by using those at the Tiamat, which will give us prayer experience. But that being said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider giving it a like as it keeps the white out of my beard. Thank you again, and I hope to see you in the next one.